So today I'm doing the New York Times by the book booktube tag. I swear I didn't name my channel after them. It was just a happy coincidence, I guess. But now that I have the name, I guess I might as well just do the tag. The book that is on my nightstand right now is it's called India's War, The Making of Modern South Asia, 1939 to 1945. And it's by Srinath Raghavan. And it is it's a military history, and it's about how the politics of the subcontinent and the events of the Second World War and the various military actions all sort of came together to make South Asia what it is today politically. It's a bit of a doorstopper, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's, I mean, I'll know for sure at the end, but so far I'm really enjoying it. The last truly great book that I read was, it's called Ye Un Dino Ki Baat Hai, and it's by Yasir Abbasi. He didn't write it, but he sort of selected it and translated it. So what it is are Urdu memoirs of cinema legends. It's actually a pretty neat concept in that he basically went back and found all these Urdu film journals and magazines from the 1940s, 50s, 60s. The Urdu press used to be a lot more vibrant back then, and they were especially interested in cinema. People from the Hindi film industry would write little biographies or little essays and pieces of memoir, either about themselves or the people that they knew, and it's kind of odd to like read these stories because celebrities today are so managed and they're so politically correct, and they don't want to offend anyone, probably for fear of an online mob. But back in the day, they just said whatever it was that they felt like. So you have people who are calling each other out. They're saying, you know, this person is a horrible human being, and that person might be like, you know, an icon in Hindi film cinema. So it's really funny, and it's also really heartwarming, and it gives you a really good sense of who these people were and why they made the kind of cinema that they did. I highly recommend it, and it's in English, so you know, even if you don't really watch Hindi cinema, I feel like it's a very instructive piece of cultural writing. And it also has all these amazing illustrations by Yasir's wife, whose name I'm sadly blanking on right now, but they're amazing. Okay, do you want to hear a funny story about this book? So I first heard about it from a friend of mine called Jayarjan Singh, who writes all these book reviews, and he also writes about cinema. And Yasir, I guess, is a friend of his. So when he wrote about it and he posted it on Facebook, he kept a link to Yasir, and I thought it was an author's page. So I clicked on the link and I asked to follow his private account, and I thought that, you know, I didn't really think about it, but it was a little weird that an author's book page would be private, but I thought, well, you know, maybe. And then I went to bed and I woke up the next morning to a very confused message from Yasir asking me who I was and why I wanted to be his friend on Facebook, and it was really awkward because I had to be like, oh well, you know, you're friends with Jay and Jay, like with this thing. Anyway, so Yasir and I are now friends on Facebook, and I'm an idiot. His book is great though. You should read it. If I could meet any author, my favorite author, dead or alive, I would never in a million years meet them because writers are assholes. I'm very sorry to crush your miserable hopes and dreams, but it's true. I don't care how wonderful they come off to you, but there is something about the writing process that it just turns you into a jerk, dude. And I went to writing school, I'm friends with writers, very successful writers, and I'm telling you, there's something wrong with them. And especially the kind of writers that you'd like to meet, the ones that were very adventurous and did really insane things. I'm thinking, you know, Hemingway, a Gonzo guy. Like, I would never meet any of them in real life. They sound like absolute nightmares. Friends don't let friends meet their favorite authors. I'd be surprised if you were surprised to find something on my bookshelf, because I literally have, God, I have everything. I have Anne Rice erotica, I have the Quran, I have fairy tales from Ukraine, Karl Marx, Steve Jobs. I run the gamut. The only thing I'm not going to do is show you my bookshelf, because it is a mess, and I'm going to leave it that way. I know where everything is, and that's all that matters. I have a very long Amazon wish list. It's set to private, so you can't see it, and that's for my vanity. But yeah, War and Peace. I've never read it. I always think about it, and I know I should because it's such a big part of literary canon, but it just saps my will to live to just think about reading it even. So I didn't really have a conventional childhood in that my parents were curating the things that I was reading. They would just take me to the bookshop and just set me loose and say, read whatever. So I was reading at a fairly advanced level by the time I was about 8, I would say. So I've always read books that were too old for me. I didn't really read a lot of children's literature. So sometimes when my friends, or you know, I'm at a party and people are talking about their beloved books from childhood, I'm sort of standing in the background going, It is what it is. The Hunger Games, I feel like everybody told me that I was supposed to like it, and everybody recommended it to me over a, what was it, a 3-year period. Everyone was talking about it, and I read the first book and I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it, but and I kind of hated the films. I thought they were terrible, so I think maybe that bled over. I don't often not finish books. I think I've gotten more comfortable with the idea of that as I grow older, because I don't know, death is staring me in the face. I have a sense of my own mortality. I don't know. But it doesn't really happen very often still. If I think something is unbearable, I might skip ahead a little bit. I'm not somebody that has a problem reading the ending and then sort of working my way back. In my experience, if the ending is crap, then the book is usually crap. And that's true of murder mysteries too. Come at me, bro. I think at a macro level, I like stories that have a happy ending. I think the world is a miserable place sometimes, and there's so much of that misery is right in my face. I'm a person that keeps up with current events and what's happening in the world, and I don't like to live in denial or to turn my head away from the misery that's being suffered by real human beings around me. So I think I get more pleasure out of a book when I know that things have worked out well for them. I've said this before, but literature to me is escapism. I don't need it to reflect real life in any way, shape, or form. That's why I love fantasy. As for books that I don't read, it's usually self-help books. I've made a few exceptions over the years, and it hasn't really worked out that well. A cousin of mine really wanted me to read Eat, Pray, Love, for example, and we don't have a president. I'm Indian, so we have a prime minister, and I would like him to read the Constitution. I think that would really help him in his job, but also as a human being. The next book that I'm about to start is The Air Affair, and it's for book club. If you like what you've seen, then may I suggest that you check out one of my other videos and hit the subscribe button. There's new videos every week, and you never know what you might get. Till next time, happy reading. For more videos, please hit the subscribe button.